Good morning. It is today in Mesquite, and we're going to find out what's happening in Mesquite today. I have one announcement to make before I bring on our guests, which are the Mesquite Toes today. Brenda Slocum, who is with the Toys for Tots, she's also a member of Friends of Old Butte. She is unfortunately having to give up her position as the Toys for Tots coordinator. So they're looking for a new coordinator. And if you are interested, it's a wonderful charity event. You can contact Brenda Slocum. I will put some contact information in the comment section after the show. So without further ado, you know the spring fling is coming up, or the Mesquite Toes Spring Spectacular. It is one of our yearly big fundraising events. And this year, it happens to be the event that opens our theater back up for the season. So I'm very excited to welcome Tracy Bybee, Carol Harris, Judy Britton, Debbie Miller, and Cheryl Kempe to the show. And let me bring them in and say good morning to the ladies.
Good morning.
Good
Good morning.
morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. And let's see. We got to get
Carol.
in here, and I got to get up to her. There she is. All right.
Good morning, everybody.
There. Now we got good morning, ladies. Good morning. How is everybody this morning?
Great, great.
Fantastic.
Terrific.
Thank you for having us.
Well, thank you for being on. Thank you for being on. I want to talk to Sherry first. Let's give Sherry a chance to tell us about what is happening this year at the Spring Spectacular.
Well, the Spring Spectacular is Friday, April 16th and Saturday, April 17th. There's 2 shows each day, a matinee at 1 o'clock and then an evening show at 7 o'clock. Tickets are available at the box office on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or 1 hour before the show. Because it's socially distanced, there won't be as many people in each audience, but it should be a great show. Everybody needs to wear masks, of course. And we are so looking forward to being back in the theater and opening the theater for the citizens of Mesquite and to share our dancing skills with the citizens of Mesquite. There's not only going to be dancing, but there's going to be singing. The Mesquite Toes, of course, will be performing tap, jazz, and clogging. And then, of course, there'll be some other acts, such as the Virgin Valley Dance Company. Russ Westwood is going to be doing some cowboy poetry. Linda Nelson will be doing some singing. And let's see. The Mesquite Rec Center also will be sharing their dances with us. So we're so excited to be performing again in the theater, and we hope everybody comes out and enjoys it.
Well, I know I have never been to a show that I haven't enjoyed. You guys, or ladies, have done a wonderful job and have a new dance instructor and a new coordinator. I'm really looking forward to seeing what you have. Judy Britton.
Yes, ma'am.
She is one of the oldest members of the Toes. Why don't you tell us a little bit about how the Toes got started? What is your history?
The Toes were started in December of 2003 by Vicki Ekman as a exercise class at the rec center. And it was really funny because she would always tell us that the director of the rec center laughed at her and said, nobody's going to want to do that. and it grew very, very rapidly from there up to at our highest point, we had almost 60 dancers. And it's been going solid ever since then. Vicki was our director and our creative. She was our choreographer and our dancing teacher from 2003 until 2016, when she retired after our Spring Spectacular. At that time, Judy Edgington took over and was our director for 2 years, and also our choreographer. And of course, we had our jazz teachers and our clogging teachers in there too. So I mean, it was a really busy time. And then 2 years ago, Tracy took over as our main tap teacher, and she'll tell you about her tap background, and it's pretty awesome. And we're still going strong.
Awesome, awesome. So you mentioned some health benefits of dancing. Carol, would you care to tell us a little bit about why you think that dancing is good for your health?
I think that dancing is like almost every form of exercise is good for your health. The extra benefits of dancing, however, are not only physical, but they are mental as well. When they talk about things that you can do to stave off Alzheimer's or dementia, they say learn a new language, learn how to play an instrument, or learn to dance. Those are at least three of the options. And learning to dance lets you use your body as your instrument. And it keeps your mind sharp because you have to learn all the routines and remember all the routines and all the steps that go to the routines. So I think that it's a wonderful way of staying fit, getting fit, keeping fit, and keeping mentally alert.
Awesome. Tracy, you have been with the Toes for just a short time, but I did catch one of the shows that you had choreographed, and you were also dancing in. I believe it was this past summer at the rec center field, and
Yes.
there is a definite difference. So when you watch you dance, we know you have an extensive dance form. It's quite obvious. Would you care to share with us all of your experience?
Well, yes, I come from a four generation dance history. My great grandmother, my mother had a studio, and then she gave me the studio at 17 years old. And I kept the studio until my daughter, I brought her in, and then I decided to retire and move to Mesquite. And I was not going to dance in Mesquite, but all of a sudden I found myself, I was kicking my legs, not wanting to go because I thought I had closed the door on my dance business and history with dance. But I went to the open house that the Toes had and met the ladies and just fell in love with them. They were so sweet and welcoming, and so I joined. At that time, Carol was my teacher. I was a fireball, and it was really hard for me to start at the beginning level, but I wanted to show the ladies, I wanted them to respect me and do the same thing that they had to do, work from the bottom and work up. And so I danced with Carol for a year, and then the following year I was asked if I wanted to teach the tap, and I said yes. And then this year I was asked to teach the jazz. So it's been an incredible experience for me.
Oh, I bet, and you are an incredible dancer. That is absolutely wonderful. Debbie
Yes.
Miller, I do hope that you in the house, your neighbors would go crazy. This is the ski clog clog instructor.
Yes.
So how do you do a lot of clogging? Do you practice a lot at home?
Yes, yes, I do. I practice all the time. In fact, I must practice a lot because one time in the middle of the night I got up because I needed some Tums, and I took some Tums, getting them out of the jar, you know how they're plastic, and my husband was in the bedroom, and it was like 1 a.m, and he says, "What are you doing in there tap dancing when I'm trying to sleep?" Sounded like I was tap dancing, so I think I must clog and practice a lot. I have to get that in my mind. That's why clogging is so good for you. It just truly makes, I can almost feel my brain work switch to fit those steps in together because they all combine together. You learn basics, and then with those basics, you add additional steps. And so you really have to be on your toes to remember what you need to do and to get all those steps going. And it's such good exercise, so much fun. In fact, in the American Fitness magazine, it said that clogging for an hour can burn 400 calories, improve blood pressure, endurance, strength, lung capacity, muscle tone, flexibility, coordination, balance, in addition to all that brain work that happens. It is just a marvelous form of exercise, and it's so much fun. Such a good social way to get together with ladies.
Well, how long have you been clogging?
I started teaching clogging when I took the clogging class when I was a young mother. And then I took that class, and then they asked me if I wanted to teach the little girls. So I taught little girls for about, 6 years. My little kids, they were little, like second grade probably on up. And then after they then they went to BYU, and we kind of did a little clogging in the kitchen together as a family. And then I came to Mesquite, and Vicki was doing a little bit of clogging, and she knew that I'd had some experience, and so she asked me if I would like to teach it, and it's just taken off from there. It's just been so much fun.
Yeah, it is. It is a lot of fun, and you ladies do a really good job at it. So, Judy, why did you get started with the toes? I mean, how did Vicki
Why did
bring you into it?
actually Vicki didn't bring me in. Marge Westwood, who's our director right now.
Uh-huh.
I was on the board of directors for the Greater Mesquite Arts Foundation, and she knew I'd seen some of the shows and that I really liked it. And she knew I was retiring, and I retired at the end of 2012. And she had looked at me at our last meeting in December and said, January 3rd, be there. And I was. And so I've been dancing since January 3rd, 2013. I can tell you the exact day. But it was Marge who totally convinced me to get started. And then I got to meet Vicki and, move on from there. Yeah.
So, how did you ladies develop from? And this is more specifically for Judy, because I don't know, how big your history or how large your other ladies' history is, but how did you transition from just being a exercise dance team to doing shows?
I think as the team grew at the beginning, from what I've heard, now I wasn't here then, but they started out performing, just trying it. I think the first one was either at the nursing home or in a park. I'm not sure which. And they got to get costumes, and that keyed everybody up, and they loved it. And it just grew from there. I mean, everybody enjoys being in front of crowds. Everybody enjoys not only the exercise, but also like the interface with the city and so forth, and the support that we can give. So it just naturally grew. And Vicki was a very outgoing person. And she got, you knew Vicki, and she got us involved in a lot of things. And I think that's what really helped. And as more people saw us and more people saw us, more people asked us to take part in their organization, take part in their events. And that's how it grew.
Carol, you've been with them for several years now, I know. How have you had the opportunity to perform on the Holland American ships?
I'm sorry, Terry, you dropped out a little bit. Would you repeat your question?
You've been with them for a while now. Have you had an opportunity to perform with them when they perform on the Holland American cruise ships?
I have not. When the Toes were performing on the cruises, I was not a performer. I was a dancer. I joined the Toes to continue my education in tap dancing. I had taken a class in my early 40s, and I promised myself that when I retired, I would get back to tap dancing because I love it. So I was really intensely concentrating on learning the basics and expanding from there, and I was not real anxious to get up on a stage.
Okay. Well, besides Judy, which one of you have any of you ladies had a chance to perform on the cruise line?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, and so did I.
Okay, so
Um,
Debbie, I'm going to ask
Yeah.
Debbie, tell us a little bit about your experience with the cruise ship and what you guys did there.
I couldn't believe that we were really doing this, but we would we had jackets and everything that had the toes on it. And so everywhere we went, people were asking us about it. And we told them we were putting on a show, and it was and we practiced. You know, we had to take out time out of our days to practice, and we practiced in lounges. And so people knew, they were aware of what we were doing. So we put a show on. I think we only did one show, and we did it while it was an at-sea day, and I'm not kidding, the place was packed. We had a packed crowd, people standing to see us dance, and it was the most fun I have ever had. We were running back and forth behind that stage, and the stage had holes in it because to put the lighting and some stuff there, so you had to be really careful that you didn't fall through one of those holes or a slick spot where they had metal where they hooked something to the floor. So the stage was kind of scary, but other than that, it was really, really fun. Just so exciting.
Terry, there was probably 800 plus people in the audience when we danced on the Alaska cruise.
Wow.
Oh, wow. Which was your favorite trip, Judy?
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, which was your favorite trip? What do you have a favorite trip?
The only cruise that I did was the Alaska trip, and that was really, really a lot of fun. Probably one of the strangest trips we ever took. I have to tell you this one. We took a trip to New Orleans for Mardi Gras. Okay, and we danced. I'm not sure, Debbie, were you there for that one? Oh well, we danced at several locations in New Orleans. And the last place that we danced was right before one of the Mardi Gras parades. And we danced at an outdoor concrete pavilion. And I don't lie when I tell you that several members of our audience were the winos that lived on the street. It was really quite an experience. But we were able to follow that up with the Mardi Gras parade, and we just all laughed about it and had a good time. But dancing on concrete was quite interesting.
Well, you ladies had the opportunity to dance during a New York Knicks basketball game, didn't you? Did you dance at halftime?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think. Did you do that, Judy? I didn't do that.
No, I didn't do that either. I think that was all before our time.
Yeah.
What, really?
They did do
no,
that.
I remember
Marge.
being since my time.
I think Marge was probably there.
Okay.
Maybe Kathy Lynn.
Yeah, Kathy Lynn was there. I know they were changing on the bus.
Yeah,
they had to change costumes on the bus.
Yep.
Oh gosh, that must have been it. Well,
we've done that more than once.
Yeah, let's talk about costume changes. I mean, you ladies are on and off stage so quickly. How many people do you have backstage help you change those costumes? Or have you just become expert at yourself?
Actually, we help each other a lot.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we help each other. We know ahead of time who's going to have a quick change. And so then we kind of flock around that person to help them unzip and take things off. And usually everybody has all of their stuff laid out so that you can just take off your old one, peel your old one off, and put the new one on. And there's always somebody there to help you. We have 2 dressing rooms at the theater. One that's close by the stage for the people who have a lot of costume changes. And then there's one that's just a little bit farther away for everybody else. But everybody works together. I mean, it's a team effort, definitely.
We have wore 2 costumes at the same time. So we wear a costume and we come in and whip off that top one and have the other one underneath so we could just get back on stage quickly. We've done that too.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I do that with theater. Tracy, do you since you're one of the instructors, do you also do all the choreography for the shows now?
Who are you talking to?
Okay. Yeah,
Tracy.
Okay, I didn't get the whole. Do I do the choreography for the show? Is that what was?
Yes,
what was the question? Because you were breaking up. Yes, I do. Along with Debbie and Carol,
Okay.
I do the choreography. Yes, we have 2
How
production
difficult?
numbers that we're doing. We're doing an opener to Willamania, which is from the Broadway show Will Rogers Follies, and that's our opener that I've choreographed, and all of the toes are in that. And then we close with another production number called That's Dancing, that most all of the toes are in that. So we really stretched it this year. We did 2 big production numbers.
Okay, Carol, you take care of all the choreography for the tap?
No, I take care of the choreography for the beginning / intermediate tap team. We have
Okay.
2 tap teams, and Tracy teaches the intermediate advanced, and I teach the beginner intermediate. And so I choreograph, or actually I have help choreographing because Judy Edgington, our former director, has been gracious enough to help me choreograph several dancers. Several dances, but this show, the beginning intermediate team is doing 2 tap numbers, one of which I choreographed myself, called Dark Town Strutter's Ball. So you'll have to see it and let me know what you think.
Okay, well, I'll definitely be there. How about you, Debbie? You do the clogging?
Yes.
And so you choreograph all the dances that the cloggers do?
Yeah. Yes, I do. We're doing 2 dances this
And
show.
how, and okay, so I ask you a basic question, and I leave up to you to over who's going to answer this. How difficult is it to choreograph those numbers? I mean, you know this is everything. Do you pick up from other dances that you've seen, or is this something that just comes completely out of your own head?
Sometimes it tortures me in the middle of the night with nightmares trying to figure it out. But yeah, I had a dance studio for 48 years, so I have 48 years of recital pieces on DVDs, and I use a lot of my old material. And then this year I've done a lot of new material. I've been really pretty creative. We've really had to scramble to get all the numbers done because we had to deal with COVID. We were closed. A lot of the toes had COVID over Christmas, so we closed early, which took away almost all of December having class. And then, of course, when COVID first came out in March and April, we really didn't have classes. So it's been kind of a scramble to get this show put together, but I was able to put 10 numbers together for the show, and I think it's really going to be a very entertaining show.
I'm sure. Well, Judy is still dancing with the toes?
I'm sorry, what?
Is Phil still dancing with the toes?
Phil is still dancing with the toes. Yes, he is. He's going to be Aladdin, so come see him in his Aladdin costume.
That's going to be interesting. Is he still the only guy who dances with you?
He's the only guy who dances with them right now. Yeah.
Yeah, he's been for a while actually. So
Mm-hmm.
it's okay. So, Sherry, where can they get tickets? How much are the tickets? Where can they get them, and at what times?
Okay, you can get tickets at the Mesquite Community Theater box office, which is on Yucca Street. And they're open on Thursday, Friday, Saturday from 4 to 6 p.m. They're $12 each. And you can also buy them an hour before the show. I had heard that the Saturday matinee is close to being sold out, but there is a matinee on Friday, and then there's 2 evening shows Friday and Saturday. And again, all of this is because of the social distancing, because they're skipping seats, skipping rows. So, each one is going to be totally spread out. And that's why we have 4 shows so that we can accommodate everybody that wants to. So at the theater box office, Thursday through Saturday, 4 to 6 p.m.
Okay, and get those tickets quick, folks, because shows always sell out. There is no doubt. If you get there the day of the show, you're liable not to get in. So you want to get there early and get those tickets. So You have production numbers for this show. Does anybody have a favorite number right now? I mean, you've been working on them all for a while. Besides production
I would
numbers.
say I like That's Dancing. It's our closing number, and it's just a really wonderful Broadway type production number. Um, it just reminds you of, old fashioned Broadway plays back in the 40s, and it's real high energy, and everybody participates. There's lots of great moves. Choreography is fabulous. It's just a really fun, energetic way to end the show. That's my favorite.
I like both
Awesome.
of
And
the
who are?
clogging numbers, of course. But I like both the
Well, of
clogging
course
numbers.
you do.
My favorite one is other than the clogging numbers is Shake, Rattle, and Roll. I just think that's the most fun dance. It's very high energy, and it's just really fun. I like that one. That's our jazz number.
Oh, that sounds like fun. How about you, Carol? You've got a favorite?
I do have a
Obviously.
favorite,
Uh,
although I'm not actually in the dance. It's the Latin number because we started working on it in the summer, and at that time I learned most of it and practiced it, and it's just again a really fun dance. But other than that, I'm with Debbie and Shake, Rattle, and Roll, and clogging numbers. Clogging numbers are just such fun in terms of you get to make a lot of noise. And for someone who, I'm pretty introverted, but having the opportunity to have clogging shoes on my feet and jump up and down and make noise is just really exciting to me. So I always love it.
There you go. And who is your show benefiting this year? Who's your
Right.
charitable organization?
This one is basically for the mosquitoes. We haven't had too many fundraisers at all because of COVID in the past couple of years. So the funds from this will be used to fund costumes and our operating expenses. So normally we have 2 shows a year, and the Christmas show is traditionally been the one that's been a fundraiser for scholarships for high school students, for various charitable organizations we've given to Salvation Army and some of the other organizations around here. But since we really didn't have a complete show in November when we had it outside, we didn't do any fundraising. So we're hoping to get back on track with that and have a spring show that would benefit the toes, and then the December show, which would benefit the citizens of Mesquite somehow. Normally, we've done scholarships in the past, which is what we plan to do in the future. So,
Cool. All right. Is there anything else you ladies want to talk about? I know that you all have rehearsals at night, so yeah, you had Sherry had mentioned that you had to like get off as close to night as possible so you could get to rehearsals. And if there's nothing else you want to talk about or anything that you want to talk about,
I have
else
one more thing about the show, just so that people know that there are going to be baskets from local community vendors that we're going to be raffling off. So that would be something that you might think about. And there's also going to be a 50-50 raffle. So you can come and put your money down on some baskets that you might want to purchase. And again, all the proceeds will benefit the mosquitoes at this time. So we'd love to have everybody come out and join us.
it is a fun time for those of you who have never seen the Toes perform before. Even for those of you who have, it's going to be a new, very different, very exciting show. I encourage you all to get out there and buy those tickets. It is always a fun time. I always enjoy watching you ladies dance. I enjoy watching you scatter backstage as you're all running past with a pillow because you got to change. It is. It's a crazy fun time. And thank you so much for coming on the show. I appreciate it. They're a week from Friday, huh? So just a little over a week, about a week and a half.
Mhm.
And you ladies are hitting the stage, and it is the opener for the theater. And good luck to you all. I'm going to say break a leg, but not really. So We don't want any injuries before time. Thank you all and enjoy your day.
Thank
Thank
you,
you, Terry.
Terry.
Thank you for
Thank
All
having
you.
us.
right. We will see you next Friday probably.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. Bye.
Bye. All right. So you got it. That's the Mesquite Toes. They will be performing a week from Friday. I'm going to bring Sherry back on. You
Okay.
haven't hung up yet. So I'm going to bring you back on just to talk a little bit about, you know, what it's been quite a challenge for you ladies this year, huh?
Mhm.
I mean, it's been a challenge for all of the arts organizations. I know I've been jonesing to get back into the theater myself. So, I mean, how have you all managed to cope?
Well, obviously, we were in the middle of getting ready for our spring show last year, of course, when COVID shut everything down. So that, that was kind of, we all just stood around and looked at each other and was like, what do we do now? Because, we were less than a month away from our show. So that was difficult. We closed down for a while until things started opening up again. And then, Tracy said that she would be available to come in and teach if we needed to come in. And a lot of people, I think, just to get out of the house. We were socially distancing, spread out. There were only probably 4 to 6 people at a time in the studio. So we were all spread out. Everybody had masks on, of course. And we just kind of gradually moved into it. Again, as people felt more comfortable coming back to the studio, more and more people joined us. And some people came even during the summer. Normally, we don't have any classes in the summer, but we did have some last year. And then we started in earnest back in September and prepared for this, what is normally the Christmas show, but we couldn't use the theater, so we used the outdoor stage at the Mesquite Recreation Center in November. And that was interesting because it rained and it was windy and it was cold and it was crazy. And people that came to watch us were all bundled up in their coats and blankets. So I give anybody credit that came out to those shows. But it felt good to be performing again and we loved it. And then we started again after Christmas. And hopefully we were keeping our fingers crossed that we would be able to be in the theater at that time because for most of us, I think we live for that. We live for the performances and we love dancing in front of everybody in the city of Mesquite. So, we've been working really hard. A couple of the dances that we're doing in this April show, we've been working on for well over a year that were supposed to be in the show last year. So we'll be very, very happy to finally be performing some of those dances. But
Well, I
we
know,
just did what we could and we love dancing, so we've been doing it as much as possible.
I know there are probably a lot of people who might be interested in coming out and dancing just for the exercise and stuff. But it's important to let them know that just because they don't join the exercise classes doesn't mean they have to perform, right?
Right. You can be a non-performer and just come. You can learn the dances. You do not have to be in the show. Quite a few people have done that where maybe they'll just come for the classes and learn the dances for maybe a year or so. And then I think after that, they feel a little bit more comfortable and then eventually will perform. But it certainly is not a requirement at all. And I think because of the camaraderie that we have, everybody realizes how much fun we have when we do perform, and then eventually they decide to perform. But it's certainly not a requirement at all. It's an exercise, it's social, it's just a lot of fun.
Cool. And what type of classes do you ladies offer?
We offer tap, of course. We have beginning, intermediate, as Carol was saying, she's the teacher for that. And then we have advanced intermediate, and that's Tracy's class. And we have 2 classes, but then we have also specialty dances that there's maybe just 3 or 4 people in that are tap classes or tap dances. So, you can be in as many or as much you want. So we have tap and then we have jazz and Tracy is the choreographer and the teacher for that.
Mm.
And then we have clogging, of course, and Debbie is the teacher for that. We have the 3 different types.
Okay, and what are your class sessions usually run for
An
anybody
hour,
that
an
might be
hour.
listening? An
And
hour?
again, when we get closer to the show, you have more rehearsals
And
and you
and those
have
classes are an hour how many times a week?
twice a week.
Twice a week. So
Hmm.
that's really a great start to beginning to exercise. I mean, if dance is going to be your thing, just 2 days a week isn't really, a radical schedule or anything. It kind of eases you into it, and then you don't have to just take one class. You can take a variety of different types of dance classes.
Right. And a lot of people take at least tap and jazz or maybe tap and clogging. I mean, most people do take 2 different classes, but again, it's not a requirement. It's just what you want to do. And I should also mention with tap that people who have never danced before usually start in a special class called like a beginning or novice class, and they learn the basic steps there, and then they move up to what's called the beginning intermediate. So you don't feel if you're a basic beginner, don't feel like you have to be thrown in with people who have been dancing even for a year or whatever. There's different levels, and they treat different levels of expertise in each class.
That's wonderful. That's good. So you don't have to be scared to try something new. Just
No, and there's always lots of new people that try it out, and we're happy to have new people.
okay. What is your position within the organization right now? Because I know you've been my contact person.
I'm vice president of the organization right now, um, and I've been at Mosquito for 4 years. Before that, I danced with an organization when we lived in a Del Webb community, an over 55 community in Florida. And I danced with them for about 7 years before we moved out here. And we moved out here just mainly to be closer to family. And I was really sad. I was thinking I was going to have to quit my dancing that I had been doing in Florida. And then one day I was just looking on the Mesquite City website before we moved, and I happened to see something about mosquitoes, and I clicked on the link, and sure enough, oh my gosh, there's a tap group here, so we can move now. So I was very excited.
It's quite a climate change. I mean, before you probably were tap dancing in the shower in Florida. Basically, it's so humid.
Yeah, it was really, yeah, it was nice. We liked it, but we were too far. Our kids are still in the Seattle area, and it was just way too far away from them. So this is a good compromise, and we really love Mesquite.
Yeah, good. And so you've been actually performing with them for the 4 years as well, or did you
Yes.
start as just a dancer?
No, I started in the summer, and they weren't performing in the summer. That was kind of my introduction to the group. But I started performing right away.
And what do you like go for any style of dance, or do you pretty much do them all?
I do not do clogging, um, jazz, and tap. Like I said, I like the Broadway type shows, the big production numbers. That to me is my forte. I've been dancing since I was 3, so on and off, throughout my life. I've been dancing tap, ballet. I even did toe for a while, and so, but then I got back into it again when we moved to Florida. So I've been tap dancing for about 10, 11 years now. Second part of
Wow.
my life.
Yeah. Well, and it does. It keeps you in shape and healthy. I mean, that's a good thing. It's a good thing.
Yeah, it's great, and it's just so much fun. We all get along. I told my husband, I said, it's kind of like a sorority in a way. It's just everybody helps each other, and we all have a common goal, and love to perform and love to show off to the community. And it's good too when we can get through COVID and have a little bit more operating funds so we can contribute to the community a little bit more. We'd like to be able to do that again.
Yeah. I know for anybody who's listening, just in case you're having a little bit of doubt or worry, even if you do go with the toes, I know performing myself, you get that stage fright, that anxiety before you go on to a show. But the minute you step on stage, you're so involved in what you're doing, and you can't really see the audience because the lights are so bright. So
True.
you just become, you just walk in, into yourself and do the dance. So, all of the thoughts and the worry and everything pretty much go away the minute you step out onto, for me anyway, the minute I step out into
Mhm.
the lights. How is that way for you as well?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Everybody gets butterflies in their stomach, right before you go on stage. And once you're out there, as you said, you can't see anybody anyway. You can just focus on what you're supposed to be doing, which is dancing and entertaining. And I think the butterflies go away for me as soon as I step out on stage.
Yeah. How's the new studio working out for you ladies over there?
Oh, it's great. It's a good location. We have plenty of room so that we can spread out, and everything is just so much better. We really are enjoying being where we are now. Yeah,
And then for those of you who don't know, their studio's located in the little plaza on the corner of Sand Hill and Mesquite Boulevard. Right?
correct.
Isn't that Coldwell Banker over there or something?
Yes, it's not Coldwell Banker anymore, but it is a realtor there. They've changed
Many times.
franchises or something. And then Valley Curls is also in that strip mall. So right there.
Okay, and I know they're tucked right in the corner there, so easy
Come join
access
us.
to parking and everything. It's great locations. So, is there anything else? We're got about 15 minutes left. If there's anything that you want to say, I know that the organization has been around for a long time. I know that
Mhm,
you have been labeled the ambassadors of Mesquite, basically.
mhm,
So when things were going, full force, you ladies were really, I mean, parades and all of the, any special events, people would have you coming in and either helping to volunteer for the event or dance for the event. I mean, how many things would you on a normal year, 2020 not being one of those, in a normal year, how many activities are you usually involved in for other groups?
Well, it varies. And like I said, I've only been there for 4 years, but in the years that I was there before COVID, we performed in the homecoming parade, the high school homecoming parade in the fall. And we marched in that. And we marched in the Veterans Day parade, which was always a lot of fun. Um, we marched in the Parade of Lights parade close to Christmas. We've always been part of that. Sometimes it was the same week or weekend as our show, so our Christmas show. So I think there were a couple of years we didn't do it, but we have been part of that quite often. Um, we performed at Highland Manor Nursing Home when I've been around, so we did that. And I know that prior to me being here, they performed at many different venues. And we were set up to perform at Sun River. Their community center was having a show. And again, it was like March 15th of last year. So we were scheduled to perform up there. And then, of course, everything shut down for COVID. So we didn't get to do that. We're hoping we'll be able to do that because their dancers are going to be in our show. And
Uh-huh.
so we're hoping to have kind of a reciprocal agreement with them so that we could perform at their venue as well.
Have you any idea how many overall members you've got in this show? I know you've got outside groups come in and everything too.
The Mesquite Toes, there's approximately 22 right now
Uh huh.
that are
Okay.
performing. And again, some are performing different shows, different dances.
Right. Do you have any children in the show? Any of the
No,
young girls? No.
not to my knowledge at this time. No,
Okay,
no, no.
I know several times some of those ladies have brought in their granddaughters and whatnot to help perform. So and that's always been a lot of fun. I mean,
I remember the first year we moved here and I was attending as in the audience, I was not dancing, and they had the little girls in the ballets. Oh, it was so cute. It was just, it melted my heart. It was so cute.
I know. So they did one. They had sunflowers. So of course, I really love the sunflowers, but it was like a fishing thing. So they were all in the straw hats and little overalls, and they were fishing, and the song went along with it.
Oh, how
It was
cute.
just the cutest thing. I just enjoyed it so much.
Oh, that's great. That's cute.
All right, let's remind them once again where they can get their tickets.
Okay.
And
The shows are next Friday and Saturday. Friday, the April 16th, and Saturday, April 17th, 1 o'clock and 7 o'clock each day. The tickets are $12 and are available at the theater box office, which is on Yucca Street. And they are open Thursday, Friday, Saturday from 4 to 6 p.m. And then you can also buy tickets 1 hour prior to each show.
but I don't suggest waiting until 1 hour prior to each show. They will be
Correct.
sold out.
Yes, I'm pretty sure that the matinees especially tend to sell out quicker than the evening shows. So if you want to go to the matinees, I suggest you get your tickets right away. But again, I would not wait until before the show unless you absolutely have to, because you may have trouble. Like I said, we're socially distancing, so there's not as many seats available for each show.
Do you know?
So
Do you
that's
happen to know how
fun.
many they're? Do you happen to know how many they're allowing into each?
I think it's 100, if I'm not
100,
mistaken.
yeah,
I think it used to
50%.
be 200 and now it's 50%, so I think it's 100.
Okay, so that gives you 400 customers, basically, or 400 audience members.
Hopefully,
for
fingers
shows.
crossed, fingers crossed. And the show should be about 2 hours long. There'll be an intermission. And like I said, there'll be baskets that we're going to be raffling off with some amazing items from local businesses. And then there'll be a 50-50 raffle, obviously. So you have a chance to win big bucks. So
Cool. All right. Well, thank you so much for coming on. I won't keep you any longer. I know you have to get to your rehearsals.
okay. Thank you so much for having us. We appreciate it.
Oh, it's been a pleasure. I really hope everybody has a chance to get out and see the show. I know I will be one who will be there. So.
Okay, so do we. It's called That's Dancing, and we hope to see everybody there.
All right. Have a great day.
Okay, you too. Thank you, Terry.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right. That's about it for the Mesquite Toes. I really absolutely recommend that you go out and see the show, especially those who have never seen the Mesquite Toes perform before. These ladies are amazing. The average age of a Mesquite Toes dancer at one time was like 75 years old. Might have been maybe a year or two more or less than that, but they keep active. The dancing has obviously worked for many of them, and like Judy Britton, she's been in the Toes for years and is an amazing performer up there. She knows what she's doing, and I'm sure she brings a lot of the other ladies right along and keeps the motivation and everything going. So they don't disappoint. They definitely don't disappoint. And I've been part of their audience many times. You know, the gift baskets that they're talking about, they do get some wonderful items. They're well worth it. And the Mesquite Toes, really, they are so supportive of everybody in the community. I have never myself, I've been involved in the arts for 12 years. I have never had an opportunity where I have asked for help from the Mesquite Toes and been turned down. They are willing to help other organizations raise money. They're willing to perform for other organizations in their events or during their events. I mean, these ladies go out of their way to really help the community. So I hope the community goes out of their way to help support these ladies. Again, you know, their spring spectacular is all about raising money for themselves because their costumes cost them, and the tap shoes, you know, those shoes are very specialized. You know, they even have a little thing in the arch that is flexible so that they can dance. They're different shoes, so you can't just go out and buy any set of shoes and put a set of tap things on the bottom of them and let them work. So their costumes and their shoes and everything are very specialized and expensive. So if we want to continue to see the shows like the Toes, we have to go out there and support them. And trust me, when you do, you will have a fantastic time. You will want to see every show that they have. I can't imagine many of their dances being anything that's been repeated from their past shows, since there's so many new ladies. They've got new instructors in the last couple of years. Even if they do repeat a dance, we've probably forgotten it over the last year, so you won't see it again, or you won't remember it. Everything's brand new. And again, it's the opening of the theater. So, once this goes, hopefully the momentum will build and the theater will keep going, and we'll have more shows and more productions, and we'll see the Mesquite Toes around town a little bit more this year. Hopefully we'll see everybody around town a little bit more this year. I'll tell you, I've been out on the ball fields. We're doing the concession stand, Raise Mesquite, for the Little League, and it has been absolutely amazing. I have had a wonderful time doing that concession stand. And I'm going to give a shout out to a young man by the name of Diego Baltazar. Anyway, there was this little boy last night. Baltazar is his last name. Damien or Diego is his first name. He is one of the most polite young men I have ever met. And he kept all four of us ladies in the concession stand very entertained. We came up for snacks. He was always very polite. And thank you, ladies, and have a very wonderful day, ladies. He was just awesome. There were a bunch of great kids out there, but he really stood out last night. But they work hard. They play with a lot of heart, a lot of passion. So if you find yourself in the evening wanting to get out, get some fresh air, you don't have anything to do, Monday through Thursday, go out and support those kids, those great young future athletes. They are wonderful. And it has been so good to see a park full of people after this whole year of emptiness and loneliness, to see everybody out and about and enjoying themselves and running and playing and having a good time. You can't beat it. You can't beat it. It was really good. And Carly Toutant, Beth Kaplinger, Julie, got some wonderful ladies, volunteers out there doing things. Let's see. I already told you now about Brenda Slocum again. Don't forget, if you're interested in becoming a coordinator for the Toys for Tots, they need one. The main work, Brenda said, happens between really October and the beginning of January, or the end of December, obviously. So for that couple of months, you're going to be swamped busy, but the rest of the year it's pretty relaxed, and not that you won't be working at it, but it's a relaxed work pace. Whereas October is when you're starting to gather all the toys, and in December you obviously distribute them. But Brenda said it has proven to be an extremely rewarding experience for her, and she's not giving it up because she wants to. There's just other things going on, and she doesn't have time right now. She doesn't want to not do a good job, so she's going to give it up to somebody who can do a good job. So let's go with that. What else is going on? We've got some things going on at the Mesquite Library today. We have, let's see, the beginning watercolor class from 1 to 3 o'clock. We have preschool story time. That's at 10 a.m. Anybody who wants to take their preschooler over to the library, they got a great story hour there. And then we have an intermediate watercolor class. And that happens from 9 to 11:30 a.m. So those are all the library programs, and there's really nothing else going on today at any of the other venues. But don't forget to check out, if you're stuck at the library for any of their programs, check out Table of Contents. He has got some great lunch specials out there. They're not just your regular old fast food sandwich. He throws together a pretty gourmet lunch, and I've heard fantastic things. I know our group goes there usually every other Thursday for a lunch get together. So go ahead and support that. And other than that, we don't have any more for today. I absolutely thank you all for being here. If you find value in the show, I'm going to ask you again, please like and subscribe. We're also on a YouTube, Mesquite Today. And if you happen to buy CBD products already, you can support the show by buying them from HempWorks. We have a broad spectrum CBD oils. They're very regulated, so you know exactly what you're getting when you get it. We have great flavors. We have citrus flavors and cinnamon and mint. And then there's a natural one. Oh no, most people don't like the natural, but that's okay. The natural, at least it's good to mix in with things, so it's pretty flavorless. Anyway, CBD has got a lot of great health benefits for you. Can help reduce anxiety, help relieve pain, all kinds of things. It's not meant to cure, treat, or prevent any diseases. I will tell you that. But there have been some very positive and actual benefits to CBD. So if you buy it already and you care to support the show, go ahead and hit that link right there, www.hempworks.com/terrynairns, and that'll help support the show by supporting me. Or you can donate. $1 or $2 a month always helps, and that is through the PayPal account, which is in the link in the comments below. So until tomorrow, I wish you all peace, love, sunshine, and happiness. And we'll see you later. Thank you. Bye.